Overnight, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressing the Australian Parliament, issuing a grim warning for global security and a potential for nuclear warfare should Russia succeed in their invasion. Australia announcing another $25 million for drones and weapons.
And we're continuing with Ukraine. This is day 36 of the war in Ukraine. Russia continuing to shell areas in Ukraine where it vowed to scale back. Remember that. Contributor Michael Grimm joining us live now. He's following the story from Kyiv. Michael, what is the latest now?
Good morning, Sean and Emma. I'm actually standing right now in a trench. This is a typical checkpoint. There's soldiers all around me right now, stopping cars, stopping people, checking for IDs. And if there was any fighting to break out in this particular area of Kyiv, they would fall into these trenches as a defensive posture and be able to not only have cover and concealment, but to return fire. This was another day of Russian strategic strikes. They have honed in on a lot of the fuel depots throughout the country. They hit Dnipro yesterday, which is in the center of Ukraine, just to the east of the Dnieper River, as they consolidate their forces in the east and especially in the south. They are now literally leveling Mariupol. Whatever is left for them to clean up, so to speak, from their perspective, and getting rid of the last remaining Ukrainian army, they are leveling block by block as they move towards Mykolaiv. Mykolaiv has been under tremendous attack from the air. The governor Vitaly Kim, just said he will not allow Mykolaiv to become the next Mariupol.
All right, Michael Grimm reporting live there. Again, we continue to follow that story as Zelensky spoke with President Biden yesterday, saying we need to repel Russia. He's speaking to various other parliament across this globe, if you will. Joining us now, Michael, thank you, by the way. Joining us now for more on Ukraine is member of the Homeland Security Committee, Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma. Senator, always good to see you. It's a pleasure. I just want to start. There's a couple things I want to get to you. Our southern border, obviously. Before I do that, if I can get your reaction to Ukraine, we now know this administration now plans to send more financial aid to Ukraine in the latest talks with President Zelensky. Your thoughts on how this administration has handled this so far?
Well, let's keep praying for the people of Ukraine, but let's also stand beside them. The one thing that I hear from the Ukrainian leadership is you're making lots of promises, Biden administration. We need actually those products to actually come here. The Biden administration has been very slow to actually send the weapons. They're not asking for our troops on the ground. They're just saying, hey, help provide us the weapons that we need to be able to push back against the Russian army. That's not an unreasonable request, but what's been the drag in this has been how slow the Biden administration has been to actually deliver those products to the Ukrainians. So our push right now is to be able to get them to actually do what they say they're going to do to be able to help the Ukrainians.
Still that military aid reportedly, and even confirmed in the Armed Services Committee hearing that happened just a couple days ago, I believe, again, confirming that aid, like those, the missiles that they needed and also those kamikaze drones have not arrived just yet. I want to pivot now to our own southern border now. A New York Post headline reads this: Biden administration to scrap Title 42 border policy by May 23rd, despite warnings. Again, the CBP reporting that there could be a million apprehensions or encounters, if you will, now at the border with Title 42 scheduled to be lifted. For the viewers, remember, this is the one where you could send those coming across our border back if you had any health-related issues, potentially or specifically with the pandemic. What's happening here at the southern border, and why is this not more under control?
So obviously it's not under control because the Biden administration has put policies in it to incentivize people to be able to come. The Biden administration policies are creating exactly what it was designed to do, a flood of people coming across the border. There's no question. We had 2.3 million people that have illegally crossed our border in the first 14 months of the Biden administration. That is the same total of all 4 years of the Trump administration that we actually encounter. But the difference here is the Biden administration is not only encouraging that many people to come, they're allowing them to be able to cross the border and into the country. Last year, under Title 42, because of the pandemic, they turned away half of those, and half of them they allowed to be able to come into the country. Now the Biden administration is going to say we're going to turn off the pandemic issues at the border, and we're just going to allow them all to be able to come into the country. That's what's going to cause a major flood again to be able to come. And literally at the same time, the Biden administration's saying firing members of the military because they haven't been vaccinated because of the pandemic, or we're still wearing masks on airplanes because of the pandemic. The Biden administration is saying the pandemic's over at the border, and we're going to allow as many people from as many different countries as want to come across. That's a major problem, obviously, and all of us are pushing back on it.
And the Washington Post, even reporting this is number 4, by the way, production. Washington Post reporting this: an abject Biden failure on immigration should prompt a real rethink here. Again, this is an opinion, I want to point out, put out by the Washington Post. But Senator Lankford, you remember when Vice President Kamala Harris was tapped to find the root causes of immigration, it seems as if she's received several other roles after this one. I'm not sure if this one was ever completed in terms of our border.
No, I think we've identified the root cause of the illegal immigration. It happens to be at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That's the root cause. And if you talk to leadership in Central America, they will say they're tired of America incentivizing their people to leave their country and to be able to come to the United States. It's crushing the economy in Central America as workers are leaving to be able to come here. And because the Biden administration just set up a policy to be able to say, y'all come, then it's creating this perpetual stream of people coming. So it is the policies that are actually driving this.
Senator Lankford, I want to pivot, if I can, if you don't mind, to mainstream media. The president's son, Hunter Biden, back in the headlines, but again, not just on a couple of news outlets now. You have CBS News, the New York Times, the Washington Post, just about any mainstream media you can think of now reporting on the federal investigation of Hunter Biden, his possibility of link to a foreign intel, this Chinese company that he was receiving money from, the gas company he was receiving money from, possible laundering, all potentially utilizing the president's name now. This is a story that the New York Post broke a long time ago. Why now, in your opinion, is just about every mainstream media news outlet reporting on this, in your opinion?
Yeah, it is a big shift here. 2 years ago, this was an obvious story that all of us saw as well, that Hunter Biden had used the president's name. At that time, Vice President Biden had used his name to be able to curry favor all over the world, was funneling money back in, was working with Chinese individuals that were funneling money back over, including to the, quote unquote, the big guy, that being now President Biden. So this has been a story that's been well known. All the other media outlets are far, far behind this. They've now acknowledged the laptop that's out there they said was a Russian plant was actually Hunter Biden's laptop. It's got all these pictures of all these very indecent things that are on the laptop as well. And they're slowly but surely coming to the facts of the story. At this point, I think it's just that President Biden's approval numbers are so low that they don't feel like they have to protect him anymore, quote unquote, from it. Everyone knows that he's not going to run again in 2 years. And so this has just become a pile on onto Biden, and we'll see what they continue to be able to put out there. The tax evasion story continues to be able to roll as well in Hunter Biden, that he avoided paying taxes.
All right. Is there any thought that there could be indictments handed down? Perhaps that's why media is getting a part of this. I'll close on that.
No, there could be indictments handed down, and the Department of Justice is not talking about this much, but it's very clear that they're closing in on major tax evasion. So it's ironic that President Biden continues to be able to talk about the rich not paying their fair share of taxes, and you go into his own family who doesn't pay his own taxes. And so it just, again, more issues on the Biden family and more issues on what's happening with Biden's leadership.
Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma, good to see you, sir. Senator, thank you. Appreciate it.